Welcome to the section on social media. I can't tell you how excited I am about this section, and I can't tell you how excited your customers are that you're about to get started using social media as well. They are already there, and to be able to engage with you is just an extra bonus for them, and it's going to be a huge bonus for your business. To start out, let's just have a look at the various social networks that are out there. We're going to be covering 2 or 3 or 4 of them in this course. But Facebook by far is the #1 social network out there. This information graphic that we're looking at is a little old. It's from early 2012, but it gives you an idea of the scaling of these different networks. So if we look at the difference between Facebook and the runner-up, Twitter, Facebook has almost double the number of fan base of Twitter. And then following that, we have Google+, and then we have LinkedIn. LinkedIn actually may be beating Google Plus at this point. And then Pinterest was relatively new when this infographic was put together, and it's growing like wildfire as well. So these social media outlets, again, people are already there sharing their updates, their images, and so forth. And each social media platform has kind of its own little difference. You know, there's slight variations about why somebody would use one social network as opposed to the other, and a lot of people use mixes or all of them. So we're going to go through, again, all of these things, and we're going to start with Facebook. Now, I'm not going to do an overview of what Facebook is. I'm going to be assuming that you already know that. Rather, we're going to take a look at how you and your business can take advantage of Facebook to really engage with your customers and, again, to drive sales and drive people to your physical premises. Again, we got to keep in mind at all times that is the end result that we're looking for. The goal is to further your business by driving traffic to your site. Now, while we're doing that, we're going to have some fun. We're going to make some relationships with people, and we're going to, again, drive customer loyalty and people to your site. So let's go to the case study that we've been using throughout the course, Coots Pest Control. This company is actually doing what I would consider a very good job with their Facebook and online profile. As we look at their Facebook page, we see they have an attractive looking cover, an attractive looking avatar or image for themselves. And because it's a local business, it has their address and phone number here. They could add their hours if they wanted to do that. And as I scroll down, just to give you an idea of what we're looking at, you know, some images of the owner of the shop while he's on the job, and pictures. In this case, it's pest control, showing some pictures of some nasty bug jobs that he's done and cleaned up, and the results of them. Some of the work that he's done, fights with squirrels and various different other things, a wasp nest. So they're very topical for his business, which is pest control, but they're also interesting images. Like if I were to look at this page, I might find that these images are interesting because at the end of the day, none of us want to have a pest problem. There's a lot of information here about how to be preventative in terms of maintenance of your home or your business. And I mean, some of the images are just interesting anyway because he's out doing these jobs, and some of them are pretty gross. And unfortunately, gross things in themselves have quite a bit of appeal just because they have a bit of shock factor. Now, if you're not familiar with having your own Facebook page, we're going to review a lot of these details here, especially some of the analytics, in just a few minutes. But before we get into that, I want to talk about what you should be creating as a business. In Facebook, there's the idea of a personal profile, right? If you go and click on your own name, you'll have your own personal profile, but your business is not a person. And so you don't want to try and create a personal profile for your business. What you can do with Facebook is you can create what's called a page. So I'm just going to click on the Facebook icon. And as we scroll down on the side, you'll see there's 2 different things near the bottom here. There's pages and then groups. Now for business, what you want to do is you want to create a page. A page is going to be a branded site that you can use for business promotion purposes, and it has a lot of analytics and insights that will help you understand who your audience is and how to serve them best, what kind of posts are the most engaging, and so forth. I see a lot of businesses making the mistake of creating a group. A group is really meant to be kind of like a club or a gathering of specifically like-minded people. That's really not what you want for your business, because the idea of a business is not to collect with like-minded people. It's really to promote yourself, not only to people who are customers and friends, but to the general public. So what you want to do is create a page. So to create a page, as you hover over the pages, this little more pops up. So click on that. This will show you a list of any pages that you already have. If you don't have one, what we're going to do is create a page. So click this Create a Page button. Now in your case, you are a local business, so you want to click on this. There's various different types of pages that can be created, but similar to what we saw with the Coots Pest Control, in order to have your local address and phone number listed, you want to choose the local business or place. So you'll choose the category of whatever it is that you happen to be creating. In my case, I'm going to say professional services, and I'm just going to fill this out for the example. And after I finish creating this, I'll delete my profile, but you'll of course keep yours. I'll just go through this so that we can see all of the screens and how to actually get set up with a business page on Facebook. So we're going to use our example here of pest control again. So I'll fill that and then click Get Started. Then you arrive at a page where you can give a little bit more information about your business. So they're asking for a category, description, and a link to your actual external website. So again, hopefully you have your external website set up at this point, so you can list that here. And so we'll go ahead and fill this out as well. Now it asks if your site is going to be the authorized official representation of this business. And of course, since you're the business owner, you'll say yes to that. Now it's going to ask you for an image or a profile picture. Now you may not have one yet. If you do have one, then go ahead and upload that. You may need to shape it and size it and so forth. But we're going to go into a little bit more detail on how to do the images and the correct sizes in a few minutes. So for now, I'm going to skip that. And it asks you if you want to add it to your favorites. So I'll go ahead and do that. And now we have our page loaded. Right now, what you're seeing in this white box on the top is the admin panel. So for now, we're just going to hide that because we're going to come back to this in a moment. So I'm going to click the Hide button over on the right. Below that is essentially what everybody else is going to see, right? You see the name of the category of the company, the address and phone number, and I can add my hours here if people can come and visit my business between certain hours. And as we scroll down, you'll see that there's nothing here right now. And it asks you to invite a bunch of people to the page. So before you get going crazy on inviting people to the page, let's set up a few things first so that the page looks beautiful, and then we'll invite people, because we don't want people to come and have their first look at the page be this kind of plain looking page that is not set up properly. Now, if we go over and have a look at setting up the images on your Facebook page, this infographic shows us exactly what size we should be looking at. So this background, the green area, is an image that's going to be 851 by 315 pixels. And the profile picture should be 180 by 180 pixels in size. So while you're thinking about your graphics, make sure that you keep this size in mind. And there's a lot of cutesy things that you can do, but I'd recommend keeping it pretty simple. Put the name of your business, perhaps an image of you at work. And for the profile image, I usually go with the logo of the business. But again, it's whatever makes most sense. If it was pest control, maybe it would be a picture of an ant or something like that. Something that's going to be very recognizable to people, because every time that you post as your page, this image, the profile image, is going to show up next to the post. So people will come to recognize it. So it's a good opportunity for brand awareness and brand management if you use your logo. So this image that shows how big the various Facebook page images should be, I'll include this in the Udemy upload, so you can find this on the side. So for now, I'm not going to take the time to do this in the video, but that's what you want to do. You want to get an image that is that size, and then you'll click here to add it, and then upload the photo. And similarly here, you will add your image, make sure that it's not breaking any copyrights and so forth, upload the image, and then it will show up here. So let's go explore a little bit of that admin panel that we were looking at, that we hid. I'm now going to go and actually not show the panel, but let's go to edit the page. And let's just go to update page info and let's just have a look around to make sure that everything is looking like we want it to. Under page info, you'll see that there are a number of blue links that have not been filled in yet. So what we want to do is fill these in as best as possible. Right now, you'll notice that if we go to our page, that the URL for the page is www.facebook.com/pages/Toronto Pest Control and then a big number. Now, that's kind of difficult for people to remember, so what we want to do is back into update page settings. We can enter a Facebook web address, but before you can do that, you'll need at least 25 fans. So we can't do that quite yet, but once you get 25 fans, come back in here, create a Facebook web address page name, and that is going to simplify your page to be something like www.facebook.com/Toronto Pest Control. Much cleaner and easier for people to remember. Now go through here and just fill in these different areas, the 3 words that describe your page, your hours, a longer description for what your page is about, maybe price range, parking, and so forth. Make sure that you just enter all of this information so your profile is complete as possible. Then over to the settings page, you can just have a look here to see if anything is looking like you want it to. Right? You can set up some profanity filters if you want to make sure people aren't using cuss words on your page, and various other different things. Admin roles, if you need to add somebody else as an administrator to the page other than yourself, you can have more than one admin. And there's a few other things that we really are not going to be needing at this point, so we'll omit those. Let's go back to our page. And now what we're going to do is click on Show. We want to have a look at this admin panel. Now the admin panel right now is going to be totally blank, unfortunately, because we don't have anything to show. It's a brand new page. We don't have any notifications because nobody likes the page yet, not even yourself. And you don't have any posts on the page and there's nothing to look at. What we really want to do is we want to have a look at these insights. Unfortunately, you can't see any insights until at least 30 people like your page. So once you get to 30, you're going to see some interesting information here. So what I'm going to do is actually switch over to a page that has a pretty good size of followers, and we're going to have a look at these insights. So I'm going to go over to a page called Best in Oshawa, which is one of the local pages that I run. And this page has a pretty good deal of engagement with people in terms of interaction, posts, and interesting things happening. So this is some of the information that will be available to you once you start having some activity on your page and at least 30 likes. So first of all, what you're going to see in the top left is the various posts that are happening on my page. So this post at the very top, this yellow one with a star beside it, I just put in maybe an hour ago, and it's already reached 414 people. So that's pretty good. The reason it's yellow, by the way, and has a star beside it, is Facebook has noticed that since this post was put there, it is more engaging, meaning more people are interacting or liking it than the average of your other posts. So it automatically flags posts that are performing very well. So that gives you a good idea of what type of posts are going to perform well on your page. This column here shows you the actual post, what it was that you typed in, the reach. Paid reach is something that we're going to talk about a little bit later in the course when we get into Facebook advertising. And boost posts is a way for you to spend some money so that this post reaches more people. We'll talk about that a little bit later in this lecture as well. As we scroll down, we can see how to get more likes by advertising the page and trying to get more people to like it. And the insights, we're going to go into this in just a moment and see what all the insights are about. And there's also a place where you can invite people that are on your personal friend list to come and check the page out and hopefully like it. And any messages that are sent directly to the Facebook page, not yourself, but to the page, can be shown here. So you can start to have a live conversation with individuals. So let's have a closer look at the page insights. Page insights are amazing on Facebook. They give you a great deal of visibility into who your audience is and how many people are interacting and how they're interacting with your page. So on the overview, we're going to look at first the page likes. And what this graph is showing us is the bold line is this week. How many new page likes do you have in your page? You'll see that in this particular case, the page likes have gone down. That's because this past Friday, I discontinued a paid promotion that was getting more likes for the page. So last week, when my promotion was going, I had a good number of likes happening, and since I've discontinued my promotion, the page likes, they're still happening a little bit, but they've scaled down quite a bit. The post reach means how many people actually saw the posts that I wrote. And it's interesting to talk about that because you might assume that, okay, if my page has 100 followers or 100 people that like it, every time I post something, it's going to go out to those 100 people. So why do they need to show me a graph of how many people my posts reached? Well, as it turns out, when you write a post on your page, it doesn't go out to all of your 100 followers, the 100 people that like your page. Facebook has a pretty complex algorithm that decides what to show to any given individual on their timeline, on their homepage. Now, some people have maybe 5,000 friends, and your page is not going to trump close family, close friends who they interact with on a very regular basis. No matter how good your post is, it's probably not going to trump that. So Facebook figures out what are the most important posts from all your friends, from all the pages you follow and all the groups you follow, and which ones to show you. So, again, when you write a post, it's only going to go out to a fraction of the people who like your page, and it depends on how interactive they are with their other friends and pages and so forth. Now, when you write a post, if that post starts to get a great deal of engagement, a lot of people liking it and commenting on it, Facebook then decides, okay, this post looks like it's more important than others, and then it's more likely to show that post to the rest of the people that may never have seen it. Posts also can reach outside of the people who follow your particular page. And that's the whole social part of the social network is what's called a viral outreach. When you write a post, if somebody comments on it or shares it or likes it, what happens is all of the people who are friends with that individual are going to see on their timeline that so-and-so just liked or commented or shared a post from your page. Right, so now it's reaching out beyond the people who like you, and it's reaching out to their friends as well. And that is the kind of engagement that we want to see. That is why Facebook calls it reach and not just number of people that saw it, because it's actually reaching out into the graph of the social network and hitting as many people as possible. And it's all based on how good your post is as measured by the number of likes, comments, and shares. Engagement is exactly that. How many people liked, commented, and shared or clicked on a link in your post? And you can see here some historical information on your particular things. And you can click on these links to get more information about it as well. Now, if I scroll down a little bit, it shows me which of my posts of the 5 most recent are how they're performing. And so we can see that, there are 3 different types of posts. There's text, image, and video. This particular one was an image that I posted, and it's targeting the whole public. Right now it's reached 414 people, and we've got a pretty good deal of engagement, right? 36 people have clicked on it, 18 people have liked, commented, or shared on it. And again, they have another opportunity for you to boost that post. Now, what boosting does is it increases the chance that this post is going to be shown to people who are friends of your page or followers of your page. What it does is it kind of overrides that algorithm that Facebook has that only shows the most important things. And because you're going to pay for this boost, It's essentially a way of saying, I want to pay to override the algorithm and show this to the people who are following my page. So if you have an important announcement or some kind of thing that you really want to make sure gets to your audience, then you can boost it. And it's not that expensive. If I click on boost, it gives me an example here. If I spend $30, this budget will reach an estimated 5,800 people. Now these numbers will be different based on how many people are in your target audience and how many people currently like your page and so forth. And you can change this budget to, something that's convenient for you, down to even as low as $5. Scrolling back up, we see that right now we're on the Overview tab. We're not going to go through the rest of these in detail, but I suggest that you do that yourself. Go through and have a look. I'll just go through very quickly and try to point out any lingo that might need explanation. As we go to the Page tab, what we're looking at first of all is the page likes. So this is a scale of time. So we can see if I scale back, it shows how many total page likes have I had. What changed in my likes, so every once in a while we'll get people unliking the page, and you'll get organic versus paid likes. So let's just take a moment and explain that. Paid likes are obvious. That's when you're paying for a promotion to get people to like your page. Organic likes, on the other hand, are ones that happen just through the viral nature of Facebook. So again, if I have a very interesting post, say a picture that's funny, and it gets shared by my followers, the friends of the person who shared it are now going to see that image, and they may then say, hey, that's very interesting, I want to like that page so that I can see more of that type of content. And so that would be an organic like. Somebody who finds my page without paid promotion is an organic like. And where did your page likes come from? Again, it just breaks it down. Are people coming from mobile? Are they coming from, again, paid links, paid advertising? Are people coming right to my page and then liking it? Or is it a page suggestion? Now, page suggestions are things that Facebook automatically does by looking at where you live, what you're interested in, and it makes suggestions that say, kind of like what Amazon does. Other people who read this book thought you might be interested in this, and Facebook does a similar thing. You might be interested in this page as well. We go to post reach. Again, this is just a difference between paid and organic, and how is your page getting engaged with. Again, based on the engagement methods are likes, comments, and shares. Likes are just when you click that like button. Comments are when you write something about the post. And shares are you can click the share button and then you can take that entire clip, the image, the video, or the post, and share it to your own timeline. And there's some other information here that's interesting. You can take a look at that in your time as well. We go over to the Page Visits tab. This shows how your page and various different visits are happening on your page. It says tab visits. So tab visits, if I go back to my main page and scroll down, here's where my main page starts that the public sees. And these little squares underneath my main image, these are called tabs. Okay, and you can set these up on your page to be various different things. And so what we were just looking at in the insights is showing, okay, here's the different tabs, how many people are actually visiting those. Because you can set up various different apps in there and are another way to engage with people. And again, there's more information here. I encourage you to go through this. As we go to the Posts tab, this just shows you all of your posts and how they're engaging. And you can click on these column headers to sort, to find maybe what is your post that had the greatest reach of all time. Okay, so the greatest post that I ever posted was done in July, and it reached 9.4 thousand people. Had a lot of likes and comments and shares. That's great. So let's just have a look at this. Okay, it's an ice cream truck that melted. It was a hot day and everybody was feeling the heat, and so that went viral. When your fans are online, another interesting thing, you want to find out when is the best time to post. So this will give you some insight. In my case, it seems like Thursday is the best day for me to be posting. And what time of day is the best? Seems like 9 o'clock p.m. is the best time to post. Thursdays at 9. There you go. Easy way to figure out. Now we're going to investigate another way to figure that out before you have access to these insights. There's an interesting infographic that was put together a while ago about the best days to post on Facebook, separated by industry type. So in this particular case, if we scroll down to, say, clothing and fashion, it would say clothing and fashion. As we look around this graph, the greatest reach would be Thursdays. And it gives us some insight as to what days are the poorest. So I wouldn't want to be posting on a Sunday, for example. That's the worst day for me to do posts. And you'll see that it's very different for every industry, right? For finance, Sunday is the best day, surprisingly. For food and beverage, Saturday and Sunday. And so forth. So again, I'll include this infographic as part of the Udemy course content. This infographic, by the way, is not mine. It was put together by a company called Linchpin SEO. But a great infographic that I rely on when I'm first setting up a new Facebook page for a customer, because this gives me some great insight as to when are the best times to post. In terms of frequency and how often you should post, you'll have to kind of get a feel for that based on your audience. For some companies, once a day is plenty. For some companies, once every couple of days is plenty. And we find that in other cases, multiple times a day works pretty good as well. Now, you might feel overwhelmed by that, thinking, oh my goodness, I can't be on Facebook all the time, posting several times a day. And I definitely understand that. We're going to talk about a better way to do that so that you can schedule posts so that they just automatically appear at a future date. Finally, on the People tab, this just gives down some demographic information about your audience. Again, so you can figure out, in my case, mostly women. Interesting. What city are they coming from? So this will be important for you as a local business, because you may be surprised to find that, okay, well, my page is called Best in Oshawa, but a neighboring city, Whitby, is getting some spillover, about 10% spillover, and that's kind of interesting, and people from other areas as well. All right, so again, I encourage you to go through, once you get your 30 likes, and start inspecting these insights. Maybe once a month, come in and have a look, have a detailed run through of how your page is performing, and just make sure that you're doing the right things to reach your audience the best way. Now, on the actual page, when you are making a post, if you look up at the very top, it says that you're posting and commenting as Best in Oshawa. So whenever you make a post on your page, it's going to come as if it's from the page and not yourself. Now, if you want to switch over to yourself, just click this hyperlink and you can kind of toggle between yourself and the page as the person who's making the post. But when you're making a post on your page, it should usually be coming from the page and not you personally. Now, interesting to see what are the different types of posts you can make. Obviously, you can make just a static update. That's just going to be text. Photo or video tend to be much more popular and much more engaging with customers. In particular, photos. Of my experience, I found that photos are by far the number one way that people engage with me on my page. They like the photos a lot more. They share them a lot more. Although I do get some with the text. And every once in a while I'll post a video. And for me personally, the videos have not performed very well on Facebook. But it may be different for your target audience, so I encourage you to try a mix of all the things. And again, look at those insights to see what is performing well. Finally, you can create an offer or an event. Now, an offer in particular, you won't be able to do an offer until you get at least, I think it's 100 likes on your page. So it's not going to be available to you. It is for me because this page has quite a few likes already. But offers won't be available again until you have about 100 likes. And they can be in-store or in-store and online, and they're almost like coupons that people can learn about and have a reason to come into your store. So this is a really powerful tool as well for local businesses, because again, it's going to drive people into your premises and actually drive sales. So that's a good thing. Events, of course, are just events. They're going to go on a kind of a Facebook calendar, and you can invite people to events like a grand opening or a particular sale or whatever. And it's easy to create an event and then just invite everybody who likes your page to that. One other thing I should comment about with regards to your status updates, and that is that you can time them so that they show up at a particular time, both in the past or in the future. So if you're scheduling it in the past, it's just going to show up in this timeline. It'll show up when that event happened. So for example, if I've been writing a lot of comments for the past month and then I create a post and I time it to be 3 months in the past, it's just going to drop down to the bottom of my list. So it's not going to be a very effective way to, promote that post. But it works sometimes for milestones like, so-and-so employee had a promotion, or we had a big community blowout sale or something like that. In the same token, you can schedule events to happen in the future by, saying something like, say, I want to schedule something for January the 1st, 2014. So right now, we're in the beginning of September 2013, and I could schedule a post to happen at exactly 9 o'clock in the morning, January 1st, and it would just be scheduled then into the future, and it'll just automatically happen when that time rolls around. However, having said that, I'm going to recommend what I consider a better way to do scheduling in a later lecture on Hootsuite. So stay tuned for that lecture, and I think that you'll find it's a better way to do posting to your page. One last thing I should point out, and it's a fairly recent change to Facebook, and that is the use of hashtags. So hashtags have been used in Twitter forever, and Facebook just started using them. But a hashtag is just a word with no spaces, prefixed by a hash sign, also known as the pound sign, the number sign. So if you want to promote a particular post, now effective way to do that is to use a hashtag, and a hashtag can be any word, but you want to find one that is being used by a community of people. So, for example, one that I like to use is just the name of my community. So since I'm on the Best in Oshawa page, Oshawa is the name of the city, I will just use the word Oshawa. And you'll see that when I start it with a hashtag, it shows up in a special way. And now, as I scroll down here, I'll see that every once in a while I'm using this hashtag Oshawa. So if I do a search for the hashtag Oshawa, what Facebook does is it just searches all the content, all the public posts that have Oshawa as a content filter, and it will show me everything that's interesting going on in Oshawa. So as I scroll down, right, I see here's some of my Best in Oshawa updates happening in there, intermixed with other things that are going on in the city. So some people will be doing searches with these hashtags to find out what's going on for a particular thing. And it might not always be a city name. Sometimes it'll be, a product name. It really could be anything. So what I suggest you do is do a little bit of research, meaning come up to this search area, start with the hash sign, the number sign, and then type a few different things in here and find out what communities are available. And by posting with hashtags, which you can just leave at the end of your message, it allows you to participate in that kind of category of post, and your post will reach a larger audience when you use hashtags as well. So now that your page is set up, go back to your page. You should now have a cover image and a profile image. I want you to go over and click the like button so that you now like your own page. You'll be the first person to like it. And then open up your admin panel and start inviting all of your friends, everybody that you can think of, friends and family, especially people who are local to you. It won't make sense to invite people that are in a different city or country necessarily, but they might do it initially just to support your page because you want to get as high a number of likes as you can for two reasons. One, you want to be able to have access to your insights, so you need at least 30 likes to do that. You want to be able to change your page name, you need 25 to do that. And eventually you want to be able to do offers, and you need 100 people to do that. But more than just access to those special features, there's an important social proof that when people are visiting a page, if they see that it only has 10 or 12 likes, they're much less likely to want to join that community because they figure if only 12 other people have liked it, it's maybe not that important, or there's not enough quality information there. So until you get a larger number of likes, your page is almost working against you. So right from the beginning, invite as many people as you can, beg, borrow, steal to get people to like your page, and when you do that, you'll develop that social proof. Now, before you actually go crazy on inviting people, what I suggest you do is, again, your page should be set up. Create a few posts. Maybe post date them so that it looks like your page has been around for a week or so. Make engaging posts. Keep them interesting. Keep them funny. Use images whenever possible because they just work better for everybody. Another thing that I just like to point out is when you get a number of people that like your page, say you get 30 or 40 or 50 people that like your page, and you're starting to do not bad. By the way, there's no perfect number to aim for. The more, the better is always the answer. But the people who like your page, in many cases, are people who are friends of yours or have done business with you or know about your business. So to a large degree, the Facebook page is going to be communicating with people who already know about your business. Now, we like to use a phrase when we work with our clients that oftentimes your page is preaching to the choir. Right? You're talking to people who are already converted to your product or service in your business. So it's important that you make sure you're making effective use of hashtags. It's important that you make effective use of engaging posts with interesting, maybe funny images that will get virally shared. Because when things get out beyond your own followers, that is where you're going to get the key growth that you're looking for, and that is the real strength of social media. Yes, it's important to be engaging and building relationships with the people who follow you now, but in the end, you want to reach out beyond them and get even greater growth in people doing business with you. Guys, Facebook is the best way to reach out to a social media group. Remember to be, again, consistent, to engage with people. When people make comments on your posts, comment back to them, like their comments, really get involved, because people are going to love the fact that you are reaching out to their domain and getting excited about reaching out to people. Because at the end of the day, business isn't about just an exchange of transaction. Business is about building relationships with people so that you have repeat and ongoing business. And Facebook, again, is the best way to reach out in terms of social media. We'll cover a few other social media platforms coming up now, but again, I encourage you to get going.